give you an honest peek in their lives as we share our struggles, our wins, and everything in between. I'm Benedicte, and I'm feeling kind of tired.
And I'm Benedikt. Today is November 9th. This is episode 159, and I'm feeling unfocused. But man, what did you do to your voice?
Well, for one, I forgot my mic in Oslo. I'm in San Francisco for Jamstack Conf, Jamstack Conf was over yesterday, and they had a little bit of an issue with the acoustics in the venue. So we've all been screaming to each other for 2 days straight.
Definitely sounds like a totally new co-host. So welcome.
Totally new co-host. Like, this is the whiskey drinking, soul singing Queen Ray coming to you from San Francisco. Yeah. No, but it's been great. And we talked about this. We go to conferences to talk to people. And that was very visible. Like, not many people were watching the sessions, right? Everybody was in the hallways doing the hallway track or in the rest of the venue, screaming at each other. But lots of great people, lots of fun conversation. And I might also be a person who speaks a little loudly. So when the acoustics are bad, I speak even more loud. So it might just be me who's almost lost my voice. But it was a really fun meeting all of the people, like so many people I've only met on Twitter, and finally meeting them in person. Yeah, it's been a really, really good couple of days. But I feel like even maybe we went out for a pre-conference dinner, I guess, on Saturday, because a lot of us had flown in from Europe already. And so I feel like even, maybe Saturday and Sunday was even better than the conference.
Of course.
Those little dinners and meeting people in the lobby and just, hanging out. So, yeah.
Yeah. How did your talk go?
I mean, I think it went pretty good. But I, of course, updated my slide on Sunday within the deadline, and they did not change out my slides, so they were wrong. So that was a little, I got a little thrown, and I ended up kind of not introducing Gatsby, because that was I had added a new slide, and I was going to have this whole spiel about, not being employed by them and poking a little bit fun. But then that slide was gone, so I got a little confused. So my talk ended up being pretty short, which I don't think was bad, because they were already running 15 minutes late. So that my talk got a little shorter. That was totally okay. But it's going to be fun. I'm going to do it again in a week and a half, I guess, in London. And then I have my own computer, and my slide will be there, and I can do it again. But I think it went good enough. It was fun. I hadn't lost my voice yet, just almost. But I brought some energy to the stage, like I wanted to. And there was one guy in the audience who was nodding and smiling, and I went up to him afterwards. I was like, "Thank you so much," because there's always nice to have somebody sit there in the middle and be engaged. And I'm really not good at being that kind of audience member, but it looked like he went to all the sessions, and he was sitting there, and he was nodding, even with his computer open, but he was engaged. And I was like, yes, so whenever I was a little unsure, I looked back at this guy and I was like, yes, let's keep on keeping on.
They're not all asleep yet.
Yeah, they're not all asleep yet. Yes, I gave him some sticker. We brought stickers out for the conference. I had them delivered to the hotel, and they were here. So I've had a lot of fun just handing out stickers. Ula created a Jamstack pirate. The stickers turned out really well. It's so cool, and people loved it because it's a paper collage that we scanned. So it's very different from the other stickers people are handing out, and no logo or anything on it. So I walked around asking people if they wanted to be a Jamstack pirate. So that went over really well. And then Lillian created a Gatsby laptop. So I was handing on a hologram. You can go on Twitter. I took a photo of them. But that was a good conversation starter, because you can walk up to people and be like, "Hey, you want to be a Jamstack pirate?" And people were like, "What?" And then I gave them the sticker, and they were like, "Wow, this is awesome." Yeah, so that's that was a good tip. Because I forgot the Norwegian chocolate, because the tax-free was closed when I was leaving Oslo.
Yeah. I just bought, yesterday, 6 or 7 packs of Haribo gummy bears and stuff like that for MicroConf next week. So I'm all stocked up on sweets.
Also good. Yeah, but what's up with you, or what have you been doing? Well, I've been doing nothing but partying and talking to people.
Obviously, as one can hear.
Yes.
Yeah, so last week has been pretty good. We wrapped up the refactoring of the message composer last week, and it's really nice now. I'm really happy with the code. Leo did the first pass. Basically Monday to Wednesday, and then Thursday morning I spent some time with the code as well and cleaned it up even more. But obviously that was the easy task after he had done like the challenging stuff. But now it's really nice. It's really modular. It's even so modular that the document schema that you provide when you create the editor like controls what features are available in the toolbars and stuff like that. So, for example, for messages, we have the full schema, but for example, for our form submission confirmation pages, we only allow like headlines and a little bit of text and no images and stuff like that. So the image upload buttons aren't there anymore and stuff like that. So it's really nice. And I'm super happy with how it turns out. So this week we are working a little bit on the visual aspects of the message composer and just basically making it more tight, because over the years we've added a couple additional settings and stuff like that to the broadcast and the campaign messages and stuff like that. So it's a little bit cluttered these days, but Jane came up with a nice compact implementation or compact design that we're going to implement that just makes better use of the screen real estate and is less cluttered, I guess. So we're implementing it this week as kind of like the last improvement we're going to make to the message composer for now. So exciting to ship this out. We also enabled the editor for everyone, so it's available for everyone who signs up or was a customer. And nothing broke. At least so far, no one complained, except for like little small stuff. But that was easy to fix, so it didn't really cause any major trouble. And that I'm very happy about that.
I mean,
so all
that's
the
as good as
testing
it could
paid
be.
off. Yeah, basically. Let's hope it stays that way. Nothing major is hidden, and will only be discovered in a couple of weeks. But so far, so good. Yeah. The other thing this week is a little bit like scattered. Like it feels like, as I said, I feel unfocused because there are like a million different tasks I have to work on. One thing I'm doing this week is doing a little bit of polish on the message topics feature that we built last week, the week before, I think the week before. And we were pretty proud about finishing it within a week. But reality is, of course, there are some design adjustments. So we did them this week. We have to update all the docs because it's it's not a major change, but it affects a couple of parts of the documentation. So we have to change that, add new documentation about the new thing overall, and like small copy tweaks here and there. So we're looking at wrapping this up for good this week and then enabling it for everyone by the end of this week, basically. And then the other thing I'm working on this week is an if this then that integration, which
I remember them. I love them back in the day. They've been around before Zapier, I think.
Yeah, they've been around forever, I guess. And they reached out to us. I guess what they did is like scrape Zapier's directory and just like reach out to everyone who's listed there, because they were basically, hey, we saw you've got a Zapier integration. Why don't you have an integration with us? And at first we were like, yeah, I don't know, because from their positioning, I always consider them as a more of a B2C tool, because I don't know, you can control your vacuum and I don't know, your microwave and stuff like that. And we didn't really see the point of building a user list integration because yeah, why would we? Like the overlap in audiences isn't that big. But then we figured, hey, maybe we can get listed in their marketplace and get a backlink to the website and stuff like that. So we're basically doing this for the backlink.
And I think you'll be
And
surprised because when it comes to those kinds of integrations, because I've talked to my like accounting company and or accounting software, I'm like, can you please make a Zapier integration? And they're like, what would you need that for? And I'm like, you don't even know what I will be able to, I might not be able to like tell you exactly right now, but like I know there if it's there, I will come up with use cases or I already had some, of course, but it's something that, like when it's there and people see it, like people will make fun stuff or useful stuff. It's like hard to predict if it's gonna be something they use or not with these kind of integrations.
yeah, that's true. But still, like I again, like I don't think
Didn't you
that
put
the
out a
audience
demo to
overlap.
Didn't you put out a demo today where like you get a new subscriber and your lights will blink or something?
Yeah, that's basically the only use case I could come up with.
But that is a
When you get a
great use
new,
case. What if you have like a sales team or whatever and they're doing a campaign and you can have a little blinking thing in your office whenever there's a new sign up.
yeah, so that's basically the prototype
Yeah.
implementation. It's not deployed yet. It's just local on my machine, but basically the full stack example of this was connected to user list and to my office lights, Philips Hue lights. And whenever a new subscriber is created, the office lights blink, which is kind of fun, but it's a little bit goofy. Yeah, in
You
the
don't think
end.
whenever there's a new subscriber, people want to turn on their vacuums?
Yeah, I mean, could try that as well.
No, it will be fun to see, but at least you
Anyways,
get that backlink, like you said.
yeah, I hope we get one. At least that's we asked for one when we started building it. Let's hope we
Mhm.
get it. But if not, as again, like our Zapier integration is pretty powerful. It does a lot of things, but we decided we're not going to do all of this with if this and that because it's just too much work for probably relatively low reward. So we're only going to use stuff like user first seen and user list, and then maybe user joins a segment or user leaves a segment, because I feel like that's the only three useful things I can come up with that you can connect to other services that are on the platform. Because I don't know, what would you send like all the user data to your vacuum? Does your vacuum need to know the email addresses of all your customers? I don't know. It doesn't make any sense.
It
So
does.
we're
It
keeping it
does,
super
Benedict.
simple. It does? Yeah, okay.
I'm
Maybe it
just kidding.
does.
I'm just
Um,
kidding.
uh, yeah, so that's what I did today. Probably going to wrap it up tomorrow. To not spend a lot of time on it. It's basically like a small fun project in between other stuff.
Yeah.
And that's about it. Basically wrapping up this week then, and heading to MicroConf next week.
You said we won't be recording next week.
Yes, we won't be recording next week because I will be too busy talking to people and losing my
And then
voice.
yes, and then the week after you don't have your voice. Yeah, I'm gonna keep working. So what was kind of fun with Jamstack Conf is that two of the people we work with were there. So Cloudinary, who we were helping with their Gatsby plugins, they have a booth. Like they have a booth at all of these conferences, and the two people we are in contact with at Cloudinary were the people manning the booth. So that was really nice. And I
Nice.
felt like I had a home to
Yeah.
go back to. Like whenever I was like, oh, I have no friends now, I'm like, okay, I went back to the Cloudinary booth and talked to Colby and Balash. And that was, it's nice to just have somewhere to head back to where you knew there was somebody that you like and that
Right.
like you,
Yeah.
a little bit of a home. And then also Seda, who is sponsoring the Prune Your Follow project, they were there and they didn't get a booth, but their head of product, Alex, walked around with his Seda backpack and like covered it in Seda swag. So he was like a walking Seda booth, which was, I thought that was like a fun solution when they didn't have the booth. So I got to meet and hang out with them as well. And it's always nice to like meet the people you work with in person and get a little bit of more of that connection. And while we
Yeah.
were hanging out at Jamstack Conf, Sada's engineering team launched the transaction API, which I've been waiting for, because that will solve. Because I import all of your all of the people you follow when you sign up for your follows, and then I want to re-import them and kind of overwrite, but do an upsert and not a complete overwrite, because I save some extra things on the record. And so that was launched yesterday, and I think the SDK version is launched today. So when I have my 3 hour layover in Munich tomorrow, I hope to be able to get that done so we can do a soft launch with a Unfollow Friday campaign on Friday this week. So yeah, I'm
Nice.
hoping. I played around with it when it was, so I think it's going to be a kind of a quick fix in the code that I already have, and that could be a fun little soft launch, like on the heels of Jamstack Conf. We have something to launch. And then also, interestingly, even though I was like, I'm not going to talk about POW because I don't do anything on POW, but I had a very cool conversation with a new encrypted backend. The backend I'm using is kind of like nothing is happening. The founder is not really focusing on it anymore. So I'm a little wary. I'm a little uncertain about like the future of the product. So I was talking to this guy who's focusing more, I guess, on enterprise and compliance sector. So people who have to comply with HIPAA and like different American laws where you have to encrypt, but they do cover the same kind of needs. And he might be interested in kind of like a DevRel type project, like we're doing with Prune Your Follows. And I find that
Mm.
with POW, I wouldn't want to have, like female product sponsors, because that would kind of feel like selling out. You're selling people's, you know, selling the encrypted. I don't know. It just feels wrong. But like if I had
Yeah.
like a sponsored by or powered by the tech that I'm using, like that doesn't feel kind of wrong for my users. It would just benefit them because then I would, have the time to work more on it. So it's very early days, but it was like now that I've done it once, I was like, oh, I can do this again. Like I was like, yeah, we usually do it like so and so. Usually that one time we did it. Um, so I'm gonna follow up with him and see if something comes out of that. So that conferencing, it networking, it helps.
It actually works.
It actually works. Who knew? Or I guess we
Yeah,
all knew. We
cool.
just haven't been able to for such a long time.
Yes, it's been a
Yes.
while.
Yeah. And I think in-person conferences, like with the acoustics and stuff, I think a little bit of institutional knowledge about how to do these things were a little lost
Right.
during the pandemic. But yeah, I'm looking forward to hearing your experience from MicroConf.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to it as well. It will be my first conference in 3.5 years, something like that. No, actually, exactly 3 years, I guess. 2019 was the last time I was at a conference. So, yeah, looking forward to it, but also kind of nervous because I'm not used to this anymore.
You will just walk around like collect your gummy bears and be like, "Here you go, here you go, here you go."
Something like that. Yeah.
I can be social. I know how to do this.
Yeah. Yeah. I don't hate people. I just not used. I'm just not used being around people. Um, yeah. Anyways, what's up for the rest of the week? Are you flying back tomorrow or today, or are you staying
So with
longer in San
time
Francisco?
zones are hard. So I'm staying. Yeah, I'm leaving tonight, but that doesn't really, translate to anyone listening. And then I end up, because the time zones, I end up like landing at home, like even like a date after, like even in the middle of the night. So it's a little weird. Like I leave Wednesday night and then I arrive Thursday in the middle of the night or something like that. It's yeah, time zone. I'm giving up on time zones. I just look at the calendar thing. But Michelle Hansen from the Slow and Steady not Slow and the Social podcast. She Software Social. Sorry, I am tired. She recommended this time shifter app, so I'm testing that on the way home, where you like put in your flights and it will give you the optimal kind of sleep awake times until you're home to beat jet lag.
Nice.
So right now it says I should have coffee and light. So I'm going to go out for some coffee and light after this. And then
Very
I'm having
good.
lunch with Jeff from Outsera that we interviewed on the show last week or a couple of weeks back, because he's also in San Francisco for another conference. So
Awesome.
that's
Please say
yes,
hi from me.
I will. I think it will be fun. I've talked to him for years also online, so it's all good. It's all good. And then it's back to the grind. Oh no, it's not. It's
Yeah,
back to
well
the
done.
grind for a week, and then there's another conference in London, and then
Yes, more fun.
yes,
And
and then
then
it's Christmas, and then it's the New Year.
basically,
And
yeah.
what have you even done in 2022? Three.
The year's almost over, that's true.
Yeah. But see you around the interwebs and everyone else.
Yep. See you.